Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the game, and we're going to be spawning up here in the top right-hand side of the map. Catalina on top of the red Zerg player, representing No Dice Gaming. It is Cham.
And his opponent in the lower right is blue. He's also Zerg. Give it up for Sheep. So, Fear Dragon had asked me before we got into the game, you know, thoughts on this, etc. And I think a lot of this comes down to Cham has just been around for a while. I've seen him in a lot of tournaments, of course, mostly North American. You're not really seeing him waddle over to Korea anytime soon, but he plays a really solid style of Zerg against most races too. And I think as long as he plays a standard game against Sheep and Sheep doesn't pull off anything crazy and weird, I think he's got a pretty good chance to take the series. Sheep does go for a 14 pool. We'll see if he pairs it with Gas or not, but Cham is going to scout this. Oh, no, maybe not.
What?
I mean, it's not a big deal. 14 pool is not like a 10 pool. It's not like an 8 pool. It's nothing cheesy, but still just the knowledge of it is always good to have.
Yeah, it definitely is a little bit kind of funny that he didn't actually end up seeing it. But, I mean, you should probably know by now, like, wait a second, you haven't thrown out your natural expansion. You've probably thrown out his spawning pool by this point. He's going for his own hatch first, so nothing too crazy come out of either of these guys. Well, I'm kind of curious, like, what do you think about, like, the gas openings, or, sorry, the gasless versus gas openings in ZVZ? Because it's always been really interesting to me, like, how we saw, like, a big rise of, like, gasless openings, and then we saw, like, a big fall off, and everyone would go back to, like, speedlink openings, and now I'm starting to see, like, more and more of the gasless openings.
I don't know. I would actually disagree with that, only based on the fact that gasless openings tend to lead to slower thirds. And at least specifically within context of the Copa America as well, we're seeing players like Cats really just show how powerful a third base early can be. I mean, it's better defense if you're worried about someone going super ling all in, but because that's not really the case, gaslessness did not really pan out in that regard. But yo, Cham, get home, get that money, get that money. Those minerals though.
Those 5 minerals.
Yeah, this is the greatest heist.
I've never seen a game that actually, you know what? I would love to go back to, like, games that have become crazy base trade situations and go back to see, like, the games where they're, like, 5 minerals away from building, like, an extra extractor or something.
Oh, Zombie what I thought. It's like, if a game was influenced by, like, 5 minerals, like,
yeah, you go back and see, like, oh, did they steal 5 minerals from their opponent at the beginning of the game?
Oh, man.
Whoa.
Well, with the queen popping out here in a second, there's no way Sheep really stays around for long anyways, not without speed, so a bit of annoyance, but hardly dangerous. Worst case scenario, maybe one more drone dies, but I doubt that'll be the case.
Yeah, Cham still has some larvae. He's not really spending it just yet. Okay, now he's going to just go ahead and drone up. I was thinking, like, maybe he'll go for some kind of aggressive push after this, you know, kills off a lot of Zerglings, but yeah, it's always a little bit hard to get a whole lot of aggression done in the super early game of ZVZ, unless you get, like, an enormous advantage over your opponents. Just a lot of back and forth, like, I make a lot of Zerglings and send them across the map, and then your opponent has made a lot of Zerglings, and then you get chased back across the map. But Spinecrawler actually going up over here for Sheep. Kind of interesting to see, like, he's gotten up his gas guys. He's not really mining from it after he got up the Zergling speed. So, I don't know, maybe he's going to be, like, delaying Banelings for a little bit?
Well, hang on. My headset actually just fell off 1 sec.
Yeah, no worries. In the meanwhile, actually, since Rifkin was just talking about it, third going up for Cham over here. Rifkin's headset is completely broken. I have no idea what's going on over there, but actually both these players taking a third expansion.
Okay, no, sorry, the
the
sound mixer thing like fell off my desk and like went on.
Oh, got it. No worries. Well, actually, you were just talking about this, so tell us a little bit more about it. Like the third expansions that you were talking about. We're seeing it out of both of these players.
Bro, okay. I got your information. I got you down low. All right, so what ends up happening is you take your third base, it lets you mine more, and you get more larva. But don't you go telling people. Don't you go telling people that.
No, 10 tips like your grandmasters don't want you to know.
Okay, I'm making the jokes and all, but the reality is the income from a third versus a third, like in this scenario, it's whatever. It's a moot point. You're keeping the status quo and all that. But if you knock down your opponent's third and you maintain your third, you're going to pull ahead in the game. And in ZVZ, larva injects are one thing, and that's cool, but it's like the income you get from that base, it's even more powerful.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see how this shapes up, because right now we actually have Cham. He doesn't have Zergling speed finished up. He's engaging against these Zerglings of Sheep, but he was trying to pool a lot of his Zerglings in his main base, and now I think that Sheep realizes, wait a second, you have a ton of Zerglings over here. And in the meanwhile, Sheep is trying to get up a Roach Warren behind this. The Roach Warren is going to be finishing up relatively soon, but there's going to be a big wave of aggression coming out from Cham in just a couple of seconds, especially with the Baneling Nest going to be finishing up soon. Is he going to be able to get the big damage done before the Roaches actually manage to pop out? No Roaches actually even on the way for Sheep. He's just making more Zerglings.
The Zergling knife fight style is kind of fun, my favorite, but man, Cham is making this work really well. Takes down that Spine Crawler. Now giving, I mean, the Banelings are on the way, right? This is for Cham, not for Sheep, so this is looking pretty bad for Sheep.
I mean, just literally, it was 33 Zerglings to 1. Cham gonna be taking game number 1.
Yeah, that was, I don't know what to say, but it was pretty much as expected, I'd say.
What part of it was as expected? Like, it was just like, I don't know, Cham pulled up a bunch of Zerglings and Sheep just didn't know they were coming, right?
The thing, okay, so this is what makes Cham a good player, and this is what I think. I'm speaking objectively here.
Yeah,
he's really good at identifying the situation he's in. Now that sounds weird to say. That should be like a common sense thing, right? But if he sees an opening, he'll go for it. There's a lot of times in StarCraft 2, and we cast this all the time, and it's so frustrating. We're like the best players in the world. There's that hesitation. Do I go home? Do I go back? Do I go home? Do I make this? Do I make that? I mean, Cham doesn't really suffer from that. So that's what I think is part of what makes him a good player. And that game kind of showed, I'd say firsthand, you know, just, oh, hey, there's a weakness, there's an opening. Let's just go 40 ham on Lings, late Banelings, make it happen.
Yeah, and I would say that almost just goes to show, like, he's committed to the decisions he makes, which, oh my god, if we ever get into, like, a base trade today, oh god, that is actually the most infuriating thing to watch, is when a player has indecision about whether they should just go for the base trade or go back home to defend. And yeah, I guess maybe Cham's not the kind of player that will go ahead and do that kind of stuff. But yeah, as also you were saying, like, he just kind of knows about the timings that you should push out and has a good feel for where the game is at. Regardless, game number 2, Sheep is going to have to probably make some adjustments to the way that he's playing, just because he doesn't want to give Cham that same sort of opening. It's a question, like, do you think that, like, that sort of thing that Cham just did, where he pulls up some of the Zerglings and sees that opening and just goes for it, is that kind of the thing that you can do multiple times in a series, or is it just kind of a one-off thing?
You can't really even say either, in my opinion.
All right, yeah.
It's whether the situation presents itself, right? Like, you see your opponent take a late gas, you're gonna react one way. You see him open with a gas, you can react another. I mean, you can still go down that same build or same process of taking that third, but it all depends on like where the gas things are in this game in particular. But
it's a reactive thing.
Well, I think at the same time, though, I mean, this is a match that, and this is gonna sound a little bit caustic, but doesn't matter so much. They've both qualified at this point.
Yeah.
I'm highly down here. Sheep's going like, man, I'm beating myself up. I really wish I'd done this better. I mean, they're competitive players. They are going to be doing that to some extent, but for the most part, it's like, yo, I'm already qualified. Like, YOLO.
Yeah, it is just going to be for seeding, ladies and gentlemen, but, you know, still seeding can help out a lot, especially, like, if you want to have, like, that kind of, that bragging rights, especially for, Copa America is a really, really big thing for everyone in South America, so if you want to have the bragging rights to be able to say, like, hey, I made it past the group stages, that could be that extra little push that you need to maybe make it into a group that you feel better about. We are going to be jumping into the next game relatively shortly. I believe it's loser pick, right?
No, it's all set ahead of time.
Oh, set ahead of time. Okay.
Is Pedro in the game? I'm really doing it. Yeah, Jennifer.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Pedro was just asking me if I was supposed to be in the game. But the next map is going to be Deadwing. And I feel like every single game I see on Deadwing is just like, with ZVZ, it's always just like a ton of Zergling Baneling aggression. I don't know if you've had different experiences on that.
I don't know. It depends on the players. Like, there's some guys, like, I talk about this on the stream all the time. Like, when I get hype about some players, you give me, like, Targa or Snoot in a ZVZ, I get excited because it could be anything. You give me Cats, it's going to be weird. But you give me, like, 2 unknown players, and my default mindset is like, it's going to be passive roach play, boring, snooze fest, ZVZ, more like ZZZ, am I right? But, no, I think this should be an interesting one. Cham's one of the guys I could get excited for. I sadly don't know a whole lot about Sheep. But yo, map, intros, Fear Dragon!
Thank you for reminding me. We'll be right back in a little bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting started as we spawn down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, on top of the blue Zerg player.
Sheep. Kill, steal.
And spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, representing No Dice Gaming, is Cham.
I wasn't gonna do it again, man.
I thought you would.
Yeah,
I was gonna feel really good
you
about
need
myself.
You need to calm down. It's not as big of a deal as you think. These intros for your dragon, they're for the players, they're not for us. I need you to keep that in mind.
Okay. Sorry. Alright.
What are you, Canadian now? Because guys, I'm Canadian.
You dude, you're like actually the least Canadian I know.
Hey, I introduced you to coin pouches. I'm a very
Okay,
Canadian
you know what? Alright. I'm convinced that was a double troll now. That there actually are Canadian coin pouches. But you somehow convinced me that they weren't?
So for your dragon, are there coin pouches for Canada, or is there not?
Yes, there are coin pouches for Canada. Zombie Grub sent me a picture of them.
Okay.
Alright?
Sure.
I'm gonna have a lot of Canadians yelling at me in the chat.
I can't wait to see how many people like call you out on which way you're wrong, because you don't know. You don't even know. That's the best part.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Stop. Alright, so Sheep Jones gets again. Or not Sheep, Cham. Can we talk about how lucky Cham is on these scouts, by the way? Like, it's not that he's scouting early. Yeah, but you're flipping a coin. He's getting heads every time.
Well, I mean, okay. What is he scouting exactly that would change the way that he's playing? That's kind of what I'm like interested in. Gases?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. He didn't even scout the gas the first time he went in. Okay, now he sees it. Yeah.
Because there's not gonna be lanes out. It's not gonna clean out. He's got all the time in the world to mess around with his drone. He was trying to do the hatch block, which I actually really liked last time, but didn't pull off this time.
Right.
But here's the other thing: the drone's probably gonna die, but it's also gonna see the 6 links coming out, which means for Cham, oh hey, I cut workers and start making my own lings. So I mean, this worker scout is honestly not the biggest deal in the world, but it's nice.
Yeah, I honestly just thought it was like maybe for early pools or something. But yeah, that definitely does make a lot of sense. You want to watch out for the earlier gas timings and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you 15 pool gas or 13 pool gas, I mean, you're going to be looking out for banelings and stuff, right? But because he gets over here, sticks around till about the... I mean, he's on 18. His opponent's got the links coming up. But, you know, he didn't see the gas come down after he left, but it was already at that time where panic mode completely averted. It doesn't matter what gas he takes now because it's not going to be dangerous. As these links give chase across the map, Cham's gonna have his own links out. He's gonna have queens. I mean, I think worst case he loses a drone or two. This is Sheep's gonna have like a bad flashback to last game.
Yeah, 4 Zergons are already out right now. Sheep already getting kind of the first couple of hits off, but I think with the drones actually coming in, oh, some nice micro over there from Cham, but he is gonna probably end up losing 1 or 2 drones. One drone. Save it.
Oh, he could have built canceled. He totally could have. Where is your Reaper control, Cham? Gosh,
wrong matchup, dude. Wrong matchup.
Well, he's still gonna build cancel the extractor. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm just being nitpicky and stupid. But yeah, 6 links go down. Now Cham's gonna go across the map, and this actually was really annoying. He's gonna force Sheep to make a couple more. 2 queens are out, but these links can run past him and just go to the main.
Yeah. I think he should be able to get a pretty good idea of what's going on. And also, Cham is just going for that gasless style. Still has not grabbed either of those gas geysers. And eventually he's going to try and grab 2 of them. But this does seem a lot like that last game. Just with like a maybe even later gas from Cham.
Well, the evolution chamber at the front. Lots of queens as well. I don't like that Sheep. He pulled all the queens. I mean, this is going to affect the injects in his main, of course, more than anything else. But I do like that he's got some creep spread connected to the bases, so he can actually get back there relatively easy.
That's always like a really interesting thing. Like, there are still some Zerg players that like to do the creep spread, some Zerg players that don't. Cham has a creep tumor.
Well, actually,
yeah, he's
you know what?
Gonna spread it out.
You're usually Mr. Questions here, but I'm going to ask you one. What are your thoughts on Zerg players spreading creep? Like, not just like between bases, but like actively spreading creep.
I've always been a big advocate of it, because the thing is, like, yes, you're giving your opponent the advantage of extra movement speed, but it's like this: you're giving your opponent advantage, and you're getting 2 advantages. You're getting creep spread for movement and also vision, and that's also like really important, right?
Yeah, there's some old school players who'll advocate against it still, and they won't do it very much on purpose. But I would agree with your side, where the idea is that later on, Overlords will be picked off by Mutalisks, maybe Queens start pushing out, but you need detection to catch those tumors. So it's a lot of free vision, and Sheep is just, I don't know, embracing his inner Scarlet right now, dude. This is gonna be a lot of creep spray.
Holy cow! Yeah,
it's gonna be Overlord, though.
This is you know what I don't think I almost never see, because so many Zerg players don't spread creep. In ZVZ, I think we may actually see the creeps actually touching. Well, actually, if it gets to that point, Sheep being super aggressive with a lot of these Zerglings right now. The Queen is getting in position. There we go. And should be okay.
The Queen's gonna go down. That actually kind of sucks, because this is give way to a third.
He's not going after the third. He's just going after this Queen. I mean, this isn't a Protoss.
I'd say focus the Roach Warren over the Queen, but he'll break the Queen down and eventually get through this. Drones are being pulled to hold the line behind it. Cham knows he needs to buy time until Roaches are out. So one drone at a time. Oh, sick. He's actually drone drilling the back. But the Lings managed to slip through. Roaches are actually not that good if they get surrounded. He's got to pull the drones into the actual fight. He does pull the drones into the actual fight, but the Ling's still doing a ton of damage. However, I think Cham's got a hold on this now, especially with his choke.
He only killed 3 drones there. That's it.
Yeah, that was really good control of Cham. I mean, I don't know if you saw, he was like actually mineral walking actively through that crazy, like, I guess, mob of units.
Oh my god. And make sure that the drones didn't actually go past the Zerglings and start taking damage from the ones further back. That's actually really, really awesome to see. Now, both of these players will get out their third expansions, but where are we sitting at the end of that? I mean, they have relatively even work accounts. The big difference I see is that Cham has Roaches out.
Well, for your dragon, that is a difference.
Oh, that's shoot.
Just like, I'm white and you're not. Thank you for pointing it out. No, I'm just.
Well, I mean, what does it mean?
Oh,
though, right?
hold, not plugged. Once again, this is actually kind of a big deal. Drones need to be pulled out of this. I was just going to drill him instead. That's not a bad alternative, but the Roaches are coming back home without speed. Getting back here without that speed's going to take a lot of work. Drones in the main, also getting compromised Queen as well. All of a sudden, Sheep, who should have really done very minimal damage with this attack, is doing a lot.
He's killed off the Queens. A couple of these Roaches are going to go down, but to be entirely honest, like, considering how much damage I thought was going to happen, he's only killed off an additional 2 drones, right?
Well, you're also underestimating the fact that this brought Cham back home, giving Sheep time to build his own Roaches. Cham, by the way, big props to him. I mean, drone drilling is not easy to do when you're under this much pressure. 11 drones dead through this attack is an impressively low number, but this is the time Sheep needed to get his own Roaches out. He's got a third base up and running. His speed's going to be finished for this attack. I mean, Cham was going to hit, it's still going to hit like 25 Roaches to 16, but he was going to hit like 15 to none. So that Ling run by, that was a good move. It brought him back, but we'll see if that's going to be enough or not.
Yeah, right now we're still sitting at 26 Roaches to 19, and that last, of course, picking off the Queens is going to be really helpful. All the damage that Sheep was able to do, besides actually pulling back those Roaches, was stuff that's going to actually factor in maybe like a minute or so after those next larva injects should have popped, but they aren't going to anymore. The Roaches now engaging each other. Cham should have more, but the reinforcement path is going to be a lot closer for Sheep, and Sheep may actually, I think he may be able to just barely get out a couple of units eventually.
I don't know. It's going to be hard. The Lings on top of this make it snowball pretty hardcore, and Cham's got to pushing his way through to victory right now.
Reinforcements are going to be popping out very soon. Cham pushing on into the natural expansion. He's starting to take out some of the units as soon as they pop out.
If Cham had like 3 less Roaches, he actually wouldn't one volley down the Roaches that Sheep has, and Sheep would actually hold this a lot better. But because he's still able to like one-shot most of the Roaches, I mean, that was really just killing that defender's advantage fully outright.
Yeah.
GG.
Cham taking game number 2 and bringing this 2-0.
Cham Man V. All those win fake up votes or whatever. I don't know. Jokes, shots fired.
Choke shots.